So the topic I now want to start is topic 5, which is called the function of directing and leading in principles and practices of management. So it's topic number 5. So we start with the activities that are involved in directing. One is issuing orders and instructions. So as a director, your main work is to issue orders. Another is supervising people at the workplace. Your other work is to motivate and your employees. You have a way of creating willingness to work so that the company can meet its objectives. Also, as a director, your work is to also make sure there's proper communication channel where every employee is able to understand what they need to do, be involved in issues that concern them. Issues of communication have to be very good. You also, as a director, you also have to offer some leadership in influencing how your employees behave in the company. These are some of the major activities that are involved in directing. We've said issuing orders and instructions, supervising, motivating your employees, having a way of communicating, and also finding ways of influencing their behavior so that your objectives are met as a company. We also have attributes of an effective director. So you, as a director, for you to be effective, you need to have some attributes. These are some of them. There are quite many. One is ability to influence others. You have to have that ability to influence your juniors. Another is have some transparency in what you do in the office. There has to be some level of some transparency to some extent, depending with what you are doing and the situation and the activities or the operations that you are doing in the company. You should also have some ethics and integrity. You should also be a person who is strategic and a critical thinker. You should also be someone who is flexible in the decisions that you make. You should be able to also be an example, an inspiration to your juniors. Another, you should be also a person who is continuously improving in everything that you are doing. You also have to be dependable. These are some of the attributes of an effective director. You also have to be authoritative. You have to be decisive. You have to have some personal, interpersonal communication. You have to be good in communicating. You also, if there are criticisms, you should be a person who also can accommodate criticism. Those are the attributes of a director, an effective director, that is. We also can start leadership. Leadership involves coordinating people, coordinating resources that you have. Resources could be the time, the personnel, equipments, the budget. So leadership involves coordinating people, resources, towards a way of making sure that the company is growing and there is some objectives that are being met. According to Chester Bernard, in topic 1 is in this same channel. You can have a look at topic 1 where you can get more about Chester Bernard. He explained leadership as the ability of a supervisor or a manager to influence the behavior of his juniors in a way that you're able to persuade them to follow a particular route or a particular course of action in the company. It also refers to an individual who can influence or inspire and guide others towards achievement of company goals or organizational goals. That's what leadership is. So topic 1 is in this same channel. You can go through it. You'll get to learn so much about people like Chester Bernard and others who did so much into the introduction. The topic is called Introduction to PPM. You can have a look at it. We also have importance of leadership. So leadership is very important because it motivates employees in the office or juniors. Leadership helps in directing group activities. Leadership brings cohesiveness among groups or departments in the office. Leadership also is able to develop talents and gifts amongst your employees or a group of people. Leadership also helps you to be in a position to utilize the resources you have. So much about the importance. It also reduces resistance or reduces conflicts in the company. So when there's proper leadership, a lot can happen. Leadership brings also change into a company. So much falls on the leadership. So as a leader of a company or a department or an organization, so much is on you as the leader. You have to ensure that you are motivating your members, you are directing group activities, you are reducing conflicts, you ensure there is cohesiveness amongst departments or members in the departments. You ensure you're able to develop giftings and talents from your juniors. That's why leadership is very, very, very important. We also can look at leadership styles. We have 3 major leadership styles. One is autocratic, also referred to as a dictatorship kind of leader. So we also have democratic or participative leadership style. We also have another leadership style called Laissez-faire style, which is also called free reign. Those are the 3 major types of leadership styles: autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Another name for autocratic is dictatorship kind of leadership. Another name for democratic is participative kind of leadership, and another name for laissez-faire is a free reign. So we can start with the autocratic or dictatorship kind. This is a person who centralizes the decision making power to himself. So he kinda doesn't consult his subordinates or juniors to get ideas. He just comes up with a decision and expects his subordinates to follow without question. He doesn't seek suggestions or advice. He is called the autocratic kind of leader. He comes up with policies without consultation, does not delegate authority, he doesn't seek opinions or give guidance about future plans. He just gives orders and expects them to be followed blindly without any question. That style of leadership is called autocratic style of leadership. Its disadvantages are many, so these are some of them. One, it is because it's very strict, and sometimes you may have issues where employees may, in most cases, not like the leader, or not like the leadership style, and may bring negative emotions to subordinates. Another thing it does, it reduces morale. So the morale is down, insecurity issues, frustrations, the motivation is low, and by the subordinates or juniors. It also doesn't develop future leaders because there is no consultation. It's kind of, I say, you do without question. So leadership development amongst juniors is very, very low. It has no scope for individuality and reduces initiative amongst your subordinates. And it is very resisted by many. It's one of those styles that may make some employees feel like they can't tolerate it and maybe leave the company. Another leadership style, which was number 2, was a participative style or democratic. This is a leadership style that seeks advice or opinions from others. This type of leader is the person who does consultation, wants subordinates to be involved, to participate in decision making. This is a leader who also comes out as a person who has high concern about his subordinates. So he does not just make decisions, he has to consult and involve everyone. That's why we call it participative. So juniors get to participate and in decision making, and they get to discuss, agree. If they have diverse opinions, they might even vote. That's why it's called democratic. The number that has the majority gets to take the day. So this is the kind we call democratic or participative leadership style. It has very many advantages. We can maybe look at a few advantages. One, it increases acceptance of ideas and reduces cases of resistance. So because people are involved in decision making, everyone participated and gave their opinion, you tend to have the decisions that are made being accepted by everyone, because it is democratic. Maybe people voted and the ones that had the majority got their way. So the idea of acceptance is very, very good. Another thing is that it gets to motivate juniors. They get to feel they are involved in decision making. They get to feel that they are being treated well. They get to feel that they are also important in the company. So the morale is high amongst your juniors. It also tends to have employees or juniors giving their all in activities. This therefore increases productivity because everyone is like giving their best. It also, another thing it does is that it reduces grievances. So grievances, complaints are very low or minimal or even none, because people are involved from the first step to the last step in decision making. Another thing is that it encourages good relationships between leaders and their followers. So you also tend to, with this style, you also tend to come up with better decisions because everything was discussed fully. Ideas were placed on the table, everyone talked, and therefore the decisions you are making tend to be maybe the best as per the situations at hand, because you have all the facts, and you as a boss, people who are doing their day-to-day activities, facing challenges down there with their clients, with the customers, they get to give you all and all the challenges they are facing. So the decision you make tends to have to be rich, and it's kind of good, ends up being the best decision to the scenarios or challenges you're facing. Number 3 was Laissez-faire Style of Leadership, which is also called free reign, where this is a style where the leader appears not to be making any decision. So he appears to only assist and leaves the subordinates to establish, come up with goals, work out their plan, and even attain those goals. So he entrusts decision making and authority to his juniors, and hardly makes any. He might even not be making any contribution, but he is the leader. But he appears to leave everything to his subordinates, and maybe only does 1 or 2 things that may involve external matters outside the main company. So as a group or employees are doing their work, he or she is mostly dealing with the information out there, getting materials, that they maybe need when they are working, but appears not to be so involved in making decisions and setting targets and the like, but leaves it open to the subordinates. It's not very common, but it is. Some managers do adopt it because of also the kind of work they are doing. So with this, you also need to have people who are highly competent, people who are self-driven, people who don't need supervision. So that's our style. The leader entrusts decision making to the juniors, and he does more of issues that are not involved with the company itself. So the subordinates make targets, make the decisions, work on what they are working on, and they meet their goals as per what they also had set. So it's more of duty conscious, and people who are who don't need more direction in what they do. They are able to discharge their responsibilities with a sincere heart and without the idea of having someone to supervise. That's what we refer to as laissez-faire. So I've said here, a leader entrusts decision-making authority to his subordinates, doesn't direct. He does direct and hardly makes any contribution to the overall effort. So that's what we refer to as a laissez-faire. Theories of leadership. So theory of leadership, there are several. These are some of them. Trait theory of leadership, contingency theory of leadership, behavioral theory of leadership, path goal theory of leadership, transformational leadership theory. These are theories of leadership. We shall be looking at them one after another. So we can start with the trait theory of leadership. This theory states that leaders should have personal characteristics so that they're able to be in a position to lead well. They need to have some personal characteristics for them to be successful. So these traits involve intellectual ability, a person who has good personality, someone who has a stability of emotions, someone who is flexible, someone who is sincere, someone who has courage, is reliable. These are some of the traits of a successful leader when we talk about this theory. So an effective leader has a common pattern of personal characteristics that they need to have so that they are able to mobilize others towards a vision. So maybe a vision of a company, an organization. So they need to have some personal traits, and these personal traits have a pattern. So these personal traits are what I have now told you: some level of stability emotionally, being flexible, honesty, sincerity, courage, persuasive power. These are some of the, not driven by money, someone who has a good motive, a good personality. That's what we refer to as a trait theory of leadership. Just remember, trait theory of leadership is more of personal characteristics. The way a person is as a leader is a major factor to whether he's going to be successful or not successful. Advantages of the trait theory of leadership, there are many. These are some of them. So it is intuitively appealing, so it's kind of, the leader is kind of possesses something that others like. So the idea is more of these traits that they have, helping them to be in a position to influence and be good in leadership. Another one is a lot of research has been done to it, and we can say that it's a major, the personal characteristics of a leader is a major factor to whether they will become successful or not successful. Another advantage is that it provides a better understanding of the personality that a leader should have. So you get to learn about the characteristics that you need to have as a leader when studying it, so that you're able to be successful in whatever you are doing, in whatever level or sphere that you are leading. Another advantage, it has some benchmarks of what one should have as a personal trait, and these traits they work to the good of the influence you'll be able to have on your employees or your juniors. So it tries to give you a benchmark of at least a few characteristics, a few personal traits that as a leader you need to have. It also comes with disadvantages. So one is that it is mainly emphasizing on personal traits, not considering situations that you could be facing, depending with also what you are doing as a leader in a company, and the challenges you are facing or the environment you are dealing with at any particular time. It fails to consider such. Another disadvantage, it assumes that leadership is inborn and maybe cannot be acquired. If you happen not to be having those personal traits, it assumes that if you lack those traits, you will in most cases be unsuccessful. So that's another disadvantage. Another one is that it doesn't give a criteria of how you measure the traits. So it doesn't give you a criteria of how you would tell if someone is honest enough, is having emotional stability enough to be successful. Another one is doesn't offer a guideline of how you can develop. It only states the traits that you need to have, and leaves behind the idea of how you can develop these traits. Another one is that it assumes that everything, these personal traits, will be stable all the time. So it doesn't consider cases where you could be going through challenges as an individual that makes you not be able to maybe be in a position to have some traits. Therefore, now it assumes if you lack these traits, you won't be successful. These are the disadvantages of the trait theory of leadership. Another theory of leadership was contingency theory of leadership. So this one is a type of theory that proposes that effective leadership is dependent on some factors that are not from the leader himself as an individual. The personal traits that match these needs will depend with the situation. So this, which will sometimes the challenges you face as a company or as an individual is dependent to you as a person. So it is more of proposing that effective leadership, for you to be effective as a leader, is necessarily not in regards to who you are as a person, as an individual. The theory predicts that effective leaders are those whose personal traits match the needs of the situation. So it will depend on the situation you are facing. If the situation requires you to be having this trait, you should adjust accordingly. So this model focuses on the interaction of leadership style and the situation. So it is more of the situation you are facing, and it has some aspects. So one aspect would be the quality of a leader in regards to the relationship they have with their juniors is a major factor. It also brings out the idea of how tasks are structured, can be a factor. It also brings out the idea of the authority you give to an individual will depend with how successful or unsuccessful they will be, and also so the authority they have, the way tasks are structured, and the relationship they have. When you have these three, considering the situations they are handling at any particular time, this will be a major factor to whether they will become successful or they won't be successful. That's what the contingency theory of leadership is about. Another theory of leadership is behavioral. So this emphasizes on the actual behavior and action of the leader, and not the traits or the way he behaves or the actions he takes is what it emphasizes on. So the way you behave as an individual, as a leader, will in most cases be a factor to how you also be in a position to lead. So the approach of the behavior, the strong leadership is the result of behavior that is effective. So the approach creates categories of styles that are aligned with the actions of the leader and the methods they use so as to reach their goals. So the particular behavior of a manager will make him a good one or a bad one. The way he behaves, the way he is achieving goals, the way he's directing people, how he's interacting with people, how he's building the team spirit of the subordinate is a major factor of how successful that leader will be. It's called behavioral theory of leadership. Another theory is the path called theory of leadership. So this is a framework that is more of how leaders should motivate their employees or juniors so that organizational goals are met. So it provides a path that a leader should follow so as to be successful. So this path has cases where you may find obstacles. So it gives you ideas of how the path to follow when you are leading people. So a leader should familiarize with all the styles because the challenges you're also facing will be different as a leader. So it comes with the concepts. So these are some of the concepts. One concept is leadership styles. You have to have a case where you are using all the leadership styles for you to be said to be following the path goal theory. So if time or situations dictates that you become autocratic, you do so. If it dictates you become democratic, you do so. If the situations dictate that you become delegative or free reign kind of leadership, you become. So it will depend on the situation. So that's one concept of the path goal theory, where you embrace all leadership styles. Another concept is goal clarity. There has to be some clarity in the goals to every subordinate. They need to know and understand what is expected of them and how they should contribute to the success of the company. Another concept is clarification of the strategies to use. So there has to be some clarity of what each is supposed to do. There are some guidance they should follow. And another one is issues of challenges, obstacles. There should be a clear way of how they can raise issues that they are facing and how they can be assisted. So you as a leader should be in a position where you can be available to help them in navigating the obstacles or the challenges they are going through. Another concept of this path goal theory is a case where you should be a leader who is also rewarding and offering recognition to your juniors to to successful efforts or achievements they are doing to the company efforts. So you should also be able to be in a position to recognize the different characteristics, the different needs, the different abilities, the preferences that your juniors are having. We call them follower characteristics. Those are the concepts of the path called theory. One is leadership style. Two is goals clarity. Another one is clarification of the path to follow. Another is being there to help them navigate through obstacles. Another one is being there to offer rewards and recognition by words of mouth. It could be through gifts, it could be through even money. There has to be a way of rewarding those that are performing well. These are the concepts of the path called theory. We then go to characteristics of transformational leaders. So a transformational leader should have these characteristics. One, they are supposed to be change agents. Another one, they should promote integrity in the company. Transformational leaders should be in a position to make meaningful changes. Transformational leaders should be able to communicate well about the vision to everyone in the company. Transformational leaders should be in a position to also empower employees by even offering words of encouragement, rewards, remuneration, and the like. And a transformational leader should adjust to the surrounding environment. And transformational leader should envision the future, a better future for the organization. These are characteristics of transformational leaders. Then we have models of people according to Edgar. So there are four major models of people. One is rational or economic view. This is a model of people who are motivated by economic gains. They are motivated by money. They are called rational or economic view model of a person. The number two is social view or emotional view or model of a person. This is a person who is ruled by their feelings, sometimes which can be uncontrollable. So you as a leader, you need to know your juniors. You need to know the people who are motivated by economic gains, people who are motivated by social gains. Then we also have number three, model of a person. This is self-actualizing model. This is a person who is self-motivated and can mature over time. It's called self-actualizing model of a person. Then we have number four, complex model. This is a case where some people are complicated and are affected by various motives, which can sometimes be very complex to understand. These are the four models of people: rational, economic gains; social, more of feelings; self-actualizing, a person who is self-motivated; and the complex person who is kind of motivated by so many factors that can sometimes be a challenge to understand. Then we have motivation as a subtopic. This is the driving force, the inner state of mind of your workers that makes them behave in a particular way. So the way they're internal, the way they think, the way the energy that comes from within is what we call motivation. It's more of influencing and encouraging people or groups of people towards having the idea of a mind that is moving or thinking towards the achievement of goals. So it involves understanding what is driving this person. So you need to have a way of motivating your employees so that your productivity can also grow. So we have factors that influence how you motivate your employees in your workplace. One is job security. So when you give your employees some security of their work, they will be feeling that they are motivated. Another one is the reward system has to be good for you to motivate your employees. Another one is you don't need to supervise them all the time. You may give some allowance of independence of action. You can also delegate work, give authority to subordinates. That gives them some motivation. You also should have some trust and loyalty to your subordinates, and they should also have the same authority and trust towards you. You should be in a position to also be recognizing the status of your employees. When they do well, you recognize them. You should also be in a position to have an environment that is participative. Give them a good work environment. The nature of the job they do is also a factor. The challenges they are facing, be there for them so that you can give them guidance. Doing this will be very effective in motivating your employees in the workplace. These are the factors of motivating your employees. So we have theories of motivation. One is content theories, which are many. Most were in topic 1. Then we have number 2. Another category of theory of management of motivation is process theory, which indicates that behavior is initiated, directed, and sustained. Another theory of motivation is the carrot and stick. This is where there is a reward for good work, and a stick, which is now like punishment for doing wrong. So these are motivations of theories of motivation. Content theories, which we shall talk about later on, process theories, and carrot and stick. So process theory is more of behavior, where it says that you as a leader, you should be in a position to initiate behavior of your juniors, direct it, and be in a position to sustain that behavior so that goals and objectives are met. Another one is content, carrot and stick. Carrot, which means a reward for good work, and punishment, or stick for cases of when one does the opposite. So content theories of motivation is more of a coming up with identifying the needs of your subordinates so that you're able to tell their strengths, why they pursue what they are pursuing, what are their needs, and why are they doing what they are doing. So those things that they maybe need, so that they're able to feel that they are motivated and be in a position to pursue company goals as they are also fulfilling their needs. So these theories are majorly 4. 2 were tackled in topic 1. So topic 1 is in this same channel. It's called Introduction to Principles and Practices of Management. So it has Abraham Maslow's, so hierarchy of needs. It also has a Gregor theory, X and Y, which will are able to explain more about what motivates and what makes someone behave in a particular way. Then we have, we will talk about Herzberg's two-factor theory and McClelland achievement motivation theory. So we start with Herzberg's two-factor theory. So this one, he interviewed engineers and accountants and came up with two options that are needed to motivate employees. One option is a case where the job itself is a factor. So where he says supervision procedures are a factor to consider. Administrative policies are a factor to consider when you are trying to look for ways of motivating your employees. The conditions of the work are also a factor to consider. The relationships between juniors themselves and their supervisors is a major factor. And you also said that job security is also a factor. And the money or remuneration being offered is also a factor when you are trying to motivate your employees. So when you do this, when you consider these factors, the results you get are as follows. You get to experience growth of everyone and also the company as a whole. You're also able to handle challenges well. There is also increased responsibility of individuals in the company. When it comes to more promotions, you're also able to do them fairly. Another one is another result is that there's recognition of accomplishments and feeling of achievement of employees in the company. When you consider the factors of the job itself, the results you get are as I'm explaining a few. So opportunities of growth, challenging work is handled well, promotions are done well, employees feel they have the feeling of accomplishments, and they get to have feel that they are being recognized. And another one was David McClelland's theory of motivation. So he believed that some people have that need for achievement. They have the desire to face challenges. They have the desire to accomplish goals. There are people who are good at taking calculated risks. So these are people who want to receive regular feedback, and they are people who want to accomplish challenging goals in the company. So you have to give them room for that. Some who also like working alone. So these are kinds of people that you as a boss you may be dealing with. Then we have number two, people who have the need for affiliation. They desire to be associated with people who have accomplished or are successful. So these are people who they want to be recognized or associated as people who have some success in what they are doing. They are competitive, and they are self-driven, and they don't fall as people who want favors. Then we have number three, type of person who is motivated by the desire to influence others. So they enjoy status and recognition also. Those are the three motivators as per David McClelland. Need for achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power. So people will have different characteristics, and one or two will have any of these three. Need for achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power. So that will motivate every person, depending with that. Then we have morale as a subtopic. So morale is the mood or attitude or the psychological well-being of individuals in the company. So it's more of how they feel, the attitude they have towards what they are doing, the work they are doing, towards their colleagues, and towards the company as a whole is what we call the morale. So you as a boss, as a director, as a leader, you need to look for ways where you maintain a good morale of your employees or your juniors. So lack of morale can result to the following one, or what you need to pay attention to when you notice some of these behaviors. They will exhibit an employee who is having low morale, or so one of them is being absenteeism, being late to work, cases of alcoholism because of frustrations in the office. So when you notice these behaviors, you will know that there is a lack of morale in this individual or in this group of juniors you have under you. So when you notice a company has high labor turnover, where employees don't stay for long, they work for a few months and then leave, others come, work for a few months and leave, we call that high labor turnover. So when you notice this, there is a problem of morale in that company or in that department. When you also notice the accidents are very many in the workplace, there are issues of morale. When there is excessive resentment towards rules, towards supervision, when complaints are very many and grievances, that means that there is lack of morale in that department or in that office. So your work as a boss is to make sure your morale is the morale of everyone in the company is good, to avoid this, and then to also increase productivity. Another subtopic is coordination, the process of harmonizing activities and tasks. So that idea of harmonizing activities between departments, between individuals, we call that coordination. This is done so that the achievement of goals and objectives is possible. So for this to be possible, for the achievement of goals to be possible, there has to be harmonizing of activities and tasks so that people don't do repetitive work, reduce redundancy, making others appear to be idle, or others are working and while others are not working. So there has to be proper harmonizing of activities in the company. So it involves the following: aligning company activities, having proper communication channels, effective integration of department functions, where departments are able to work and coordinate well and integrate activities well, so that you're able to serve your clients better. You also have to look for a way of allocating resources well. You also have to be in a position for you to coordinate well your department or your company. You have to be in a position to monitor and control all activities. And you also have to have a way of having a mechanism for conflict resolution, a proper conflict resolution mechanism for your company. That's what we refer to as coordination. That's all about topic 5. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.